Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, wrapping up our first day here at the NFL Scouting Combine for the Chat Sports team. What I wanted to talk about today is just really some of the biggest news, biggest rumors that we've heard and that honestly have been reported today that could potentially impact the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you guys don't already know, I'm going to be here all week. We're literally like the last ones here at Chat Sports. I'm recording this video right now. Is basically right where John Spytek was talking to the media. I mean, this is number 8. Spytek, where I interviewed him, was literally at that podium over there. But since we're the only ones still here, hey, let's record a video here. So what I'm going to talk about today is, I would say, the 5 biggest stories that could potentially impact the Las Vegas Raiders, again, in a very busy, crazy, awesome day here at the NFL Scouting Combine. The first thing, though, that I want to talk about is actually my Maxx Crosby trade conversation that I had with Jeremy Fowler, ESPN NFL insider. Maxx Crosby's been the number 1 talk here at the Combine, which is kind of funny because, the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick, so you'd figure to be Fernando Mendoza. But today it was all about the Condor, all about number 98, and he thought personally, when I say he, I'm referring to Jeremy Fowler again. So John Spytek spoke to the media. After he got done speaking, I went right over. I talked to Fowler. Fowler and I have actually spoke many a times over the past few seasons. He's one of the guys that I reach out to from time to time. And he thought what Spytek said about his relationship with Maxx Crosby was actually very interesting. He said that, it wasn't exactly what he has heard, which I remember thinking I think when you ask a question like that, you expect Spytek to give you the answer that he did. But at the same time, there's got to be a reason why all these rumors are out there. And Fowler, made it pretty clear to me that he thought that Crosby wanted to be traded. So, everybody that I have talked to has made it pretty clear to me that, the Raiders, they don't want to move on from Clint Kubiak, John Spytek. Everyone keeps saying, no, we want to keep Maxx Crosby here in the building, but there is clearly a reason why all these trade rumors are out there. So I talked to Fowler, and basically, after hearing Spytek say that he was very close to Crosby, that they want to keep him, Fowler made it pretty clear to me that, again, he was pretty shocked by that. So then, obviously, I said, all right, well, Jeremy, what are some of the destinations that you're hearing? I threw out the top team that I think could make a move for Crosby, and I said it was the Los Angeles Rams, and Fowler was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. But when I asked him the number 1 team who he thought could make a trade for Maxx Crosby, without hesitation, and I mean this, without hesitation, he said the Chicago Bears. And there's been so much speculation about a team that could give us 2 first-round picks and a receiver like a DJ Moore, but Fowler, again, without hesitation, he said the Chicago Bears. So I was like, all right, well, what's another team that you think that you could throw out at me for Crosby? And he sat back and he thought a little bit, and he thought, and he's like, well, every team's going to call. But the fact that he said Chicago Bears without blinking and then had to think about all of these other potential destinations makes me wonder, could the Chicago Bears be, actually this top destination for Crosby if he is ultimately end up, being dealt? But I will continuously say this. I feel like that these Crosby rumors, they just remind me so much of Devontae Adams, so much of Josh Jacobs. And I do wonder, is Max saying all of these things to just keep it hush-hush, but in the back end, he does really want to get dealt? But if there's one thing, and I know I said this in the last video that I did, I said it during the Super Bowl, I feel like the Maxx Crosby trade rumors are getting blown out of proportion because it's an easy thing to talk about. Until I hear anything otherwise in regards to the Raiders wanting to move on from Max, I am going to continuously hope that he is a Raider in 2026, but I'll keep saying this. If Max wants to be a Raider, we're going in the right direction. If Max doesn't want to be a Raider, then I do think it's time to move on from the best player in the face of this franchise, because we're going to have a new face of the franchise coming in. His name's Fernando Mendoza. Reminder, y'all, we're here at the NFL Combine. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for exclusive content all week long. I mean, there's a reason why the Chat Sports team's literally the only guys here. We're hustling, we're grinding, and I hope that y'all know that nobody's going to outwork us this week here at the Combine. Let's go to the very next thing. If you guys didn't see, I did put out my reaction to the John Spytek presser, but today was such a humbling and unbelievable day for me, and I just want to sit back here and say thank you to all the people that have subscribed to the Raiders Report. You guys are a big reason why I'm even, at this place. And, I'm a normal dude. I started this show back in 2018. I started the podcast up in my attic, and for me to be able to, go to the Super Bowl, go to NFL Media Row, if you're a kid out there and think that you can't do this stuff, I'm telling you right now, if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it. But, being able to talk to John Spytek today was awesome. Being able to talk to the Seahawks GM, John Schneider, who had nothing but nice things to say about Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janocko, Rick Dennison. I talked to Fowler, obviously, and then I talked to several beat reporters, several writers here for the Raiders. Some, I think, like me. I can definitely tell there's a few that don't, but, at the end of the day, I'm a competitive guy, and I think that they look at me as competition because I'll tell you this, I look at them as competition. I look at a lot of people here in this space as competition, but I also look at a lot of other people that I know have my back, and I'm always going to have their back, so it's exciting to frickin' be here, man. Let's go to the second story here that I think Raider fans are going to care about from the media, and it's about Erik Stokes. So it was reported by Ryan McFadden that Stokes, the Raiders, it sounds like there's some mutual interest there to be able to bring him back, which, again, makes me very happy. He was my number one free agent that I wanted the Raiders to re-sign, and just think it makes a lot of sense from all of the other needs that we have. If you're able to bring back Stokes on a reasonable contract, I'm thinking like 3 years, somewhere in that like $24 to $30 million range in total, not one season, but in total, you're looking at $8-10 million per year. I actually think that that's a really good deal for Stokes. But here's what a quote that I saw. He did what I knew he was capable of doing coming out. I'd love to keep him around. That's what John Spytek had to say in regards to Erik Stokes. Those conversations with Stokes will continue this week. Stokes told me, this is Ryan McFadden, Stokes told me that he is open to returning if the opportunity is there, then heck yeah. So that's to saying, like, John Spytek is interested, the Raiders are interested, and it sounds like Erik Stokes is also interested in coming back to the Silver and Black. Coming up next here on the show, we're going to get into some stuff around a quarterback. That was a lot of conversation today. One of my top offensive linemen, Tyler Linderbaum, we got to talk about him. And then we're going to talk about an AFC West opponent here in just a little bit. Before I get into that, though, huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks, and you can get $50 instantly when you play your very first $5. That's right, Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. You pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks also offers stacks. So the other night, me and the guys, we were out at a bar. I forget what the bar's name was, and we were watching the Pacers and the Mavs, and one of the dudes ended up putting a lineup in for a Mavericks player. And if you don't know what a stack is, it's like you can get points, let's say assists and rebounds. That's your stack. And if you want to go more, you want to go less, you can pick one player, you can roll with it. Like for me, if I'm going to watch a basketball game, I'm essentially just going to watch it for one player, right? If I'm going to watch the Lakers, I'll probably get a stack in on Luka because I root for Luka, being where I'm from here in Dallas. So join millions of users. Sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app out there. Download the Prize Picks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to be able to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's go to story number 3 here. Kyler Murray, I believe he's going to be playing football elsewhere. It's not going to be Arizona, which is something that I think is pretty well known, pretty well documented. I know I've said it multiple times here on this show, but Mike LaFleur, new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he was like dodging questions, I would say, left and right around Kyler when I was listening to him. He also wouldn't commit to anything quarterback, wouldn't commit to anything Kyler Murray, and I actually think that they're a very interesting team to potentially look at Malik Willis. And Malik's been a very interesting topic here. Think he's going to get paid. I've been saying Justin Fields type of money, but if you're Arizona, that could be a team to be on the lookout for Malik Willis. Story number 5 we're going to go to here. It's Davis Webb. Obviously, the Raiders were interested in Davis Webb, making him their next head coach. If you did not see the news, he is going to be the new play caller for the Denver Broncos. So I had a source reach out to me again. We're going a few weeks back. that the Raiders were very, very interested in Davis Webb, and they were close to hiring him. Kubiak, from what I understand, has always been their number one, but Davis Webb was also somebody that they were very interested in, and I do think because the Denver Broncos ended up firing their then OC at the time, Joe Lombardi, and then they gave Davis Webb the job, I do think one of the big reasons why Davis Webb ended up pulling his name out of the Raiders gig, one, I think he saw the writing on the wall was going to go towards Clint Kubiak. Option two, Denver needed to make it very clear to Webb of, hey, man, like, we want you to come back here, and we're going to make you the play caller. So he's going to be the new play caller. Sean Payton has done this before, but I think it just shows the volumes of the type of coach, the type of play caller, the type of mind that a lot of people consider Davis Webb to be around the NFL. For Sean Payton to be willing to give up play calling duties when they were just the number one team in the AFC and Bo Nix was playing really solid football, for them to just hand that over to Davis Webb, I think speaks volumes to him. I would say, though, the biggest story, and it's going to be the fifth and final story that I talk about here, because we got dinner reservations in 90 minutes, and I'm already telling you this right now. We're going to be late. 8 dudes showering. It's going to be wild. Not together. Not together. We got an Airbnb. The final story here, we got to talk about Tyler Linderbaum and Baltimore Ravens GM Erik DeCosta. This is according to Chase Sr. He's one of our guys here at Chat Sports. He was over there during this interview. Baltimore Ravens GM Erik DeCosta says the Ravens have offered star center Tyler Linderbaum a, quote, market-setting deal and proposal, and called him the best center in the NFL. DeCosta also said that the Ravens will not use the franchise tag or transition tag on him if they can't strike a deal. Linderbaum is the number one free agent center. So what I decided to do, if they're saying record-breaking deal, right now the highest paid center in the NFL is Creed Humphrey from the Chiefs, 27 years old, making right now it looks like $18 million per year. Total value of his contract is $72 million. Then you got Cam Jurgens, $17 million per year. Then there's a bit of a drop-off there with Drew Dahlman at $14 million, Lloyd Cushenberry at $12.5, Eric McCoy making $12 million. What's extremely interesting about that is obviously if the Baltimore Ravens decide to offer him a contract, and it shouldn't shock anybody out there. And I say that because I know the Raiders are interested in Tyler Linderbaum, and if the Raiders go out and get him, it's going to be more than $20 million. The New York Giants have already been reportedly interested in Linderbaum. Going to be more than $20 million. So then I saw a report from Jordan Schultz that said the Ravens remain hopeful that they can get a deal done with Tyler Linderbaum before he reaches the open market, just like they did last year with left tackle Ronnie Stanley. Linderbaum is generating a ton of buzz from teams I've spoken to. If he reaches the open market, the expectation is he could get a deal north of $22 million per year. This is also from Schultz. One executive told me the center and the extension of the coach for the most of these teams, and he's a 25-year-old, 3-time Pro Bowler, and just getting his career started. $22 million is a lot of money for a center. But to me, I look at that $22 million, and I don't look at it as just an investment on Tyler Linderbaum. I look at that as an investment on Ashton Genty, as an investment on Fernando Mendoza, and as an investment on this entire Raiders offense. If Linderbaum does stay in Baltimore, then I think if you're the Raiders, you got to shift your attention to a Braden Smith offensive tackle, and maybe you look at a David Edwards offensive guard from the Bills. Does sound like Connor McGovern. He's their center right now in Buffalo. I think he's going to end up staying in Buffalo. It sounded pretty confident that they were going to be able to hold on to him. But then you could be looking at, a Kevin Zeitler, a Joel Bitonio, Alijah Vera-Tucker, Jermaine Eluemunor, Zion Johnson, Wyatt Teller. There's a lot of other offensive lineman pieces out there that if Tyler Linderbaum does stay in Baltimore, if I'm the Raiders, I'm going to turn my attention in that direction. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to hop on out of here. You guys will get another video from me tomorrow just because I don't know the exact schedule. I always try to get you guys a video bright and early in the morning, but because it's the Combine and because we're here a little bit later on tonight, I might get you one a little bit later in the day. But to make sure you don't miss anything around the Las Vegas Raiders, who I'm telling y'all right now are the number one team talked about here at the NFL Combine. If there's Crosby rumors, if there's Fernando rumors, there's a lot more extra content that I'm going to be getting you guys tomorrow. A lot more player interviews are going to be coming up, but this is a really cool experience for me. And if you're also enjoying the part of the ride, then I hope that you hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you tomorrow here on the Raiders Report. All right, y'all, click that subscribe button. I'm going to do my best, like I said, keep you guys up to date. If you made it this far in this video, YouTube's probably going to recommend you another video or two, which you can check out right over here. There's a reason why we're the world's #1 most watched Raiders show on the planet. If you enjoyed this video, go check out one of these bad boys over here for more news and content around the silver and black.